It was a dark and stormy Tuesday night. I sit at my desk, I can't stop my mind from racing. What's going on in the dojo? Are there new threats approaching? Are we powerful enough to stop them? As I wonder about these things, I remember I'm just an announcer. I observe, I report. Finding out answers isn't really my thing. But I know a guy that can. Phamily Jewel, the pettiest jewel you'll ever meet. Jewel wasn't born with a badge, but he sure as hell earned it. Just a kid from the wrong side of town, making his way up the ladder was the only thing that mattered. The detective business? Nobody told him how tough it would be. No one warned him about the games he had to play, the lines he had to cross. All he knew was that if he was going to make a name for himself, he had to keep his eyes sharp and the dojo secure. When it comes to detectives, Jewel was the best. He would cross any line he had to for the sake of balance. There was no case he couldn't solve, nobody he couldn't apprehend. Every good detective needs a partner, and Bagley is an AI robot that Jewel built piece by piece. Bagley is constantly learning and adapting, even changing his own form to suit the situation. He's always ready to achieve whatever task Jewel gives to him. One day, as Jewel was standing on the beats outside of security headquarters, he snapped. Jewel knew the detective game wasn't enough. The law, the badge, he couldn't protect what really mattered. There's something missing in his life. A hunger, fire. He looked out into the sea, and the answer spoke to him. He could do more than solve cases. He could steal, he could plunder, he could take what he needed. And that's exactly what he did. In a twisted sense, piracy gave Jewel the one thing he'd been searching for: control. No longer a man chasing criminals and cases, Jewel was now chasing the horizon. A king of the seas, nothing holding him back. But that hunger for power, for control, it never stops. The pirate world has its own rules, its own ghosts. And soon those ghosts began to close in on him. One night, Jewel set sail right into a storm. He hears something call from the darkness of the ocean. The storm intensifies as Jewel's ship is struck by a massive wave, tossing the crew into chaos. Amid the confusion, Jewel is pulled from the deck by an unseen force. He's taken below the waves, where he finds himself in a strange, otherworldly realm. The atmosphere is heavy, suffocating. Figures move through the shadows. Ghosts? Spirits? This storm, is this nature, or is it a reckoning? The sea had given Jewel his freedom, but now it was taking something back. Jewel's fate wasn't just to roam the seas, it was to guard them, to face what lurked beneath. And the ghosts, the lost souls, they were coming for him. Jewel finds himself face to face with a shadowy figure. Was this a soul reaper of the past? One of the cursed who guides souls to their final resting place? He's given a choice: to continue as a pirate, lost to the world of the living, or to take up the mantle of a soul reaper, binding himself to the world of the spirits, forever guarding the balance between life and death. Jewel pauses and thinks to himself, guarding? After all this time of plundering, perhaps he'd forgotten what it meant to protect something for the sake of others. Jewel had always fought to secure what was his. When that offer came, he accepted. He had one thing in mind: the dojo. The last thing he had left to protect wasn't just a place. It was his purpose, his legacy. And now he would guard it from more than just criminals off the street. He'd guard it from the very forces of death. In the end, it wasn't the badge or the ship or even the sight that gave Jewel his place in the world. It was always the dojo. place where he'd learned to fight, protect, and survive. And now, in the face of death itself, Jewel found his true calling, a protector, security, not just of the living, but of the dead. Things change. Sometimes there's cases to solve, sometimes there's water to conquer, sometimes there's souls to reap. But one thing's for certain, the dojo will be secure.